Thank you all for being here tonight. This is important. In fact, it's a matter of life and death. This pipeline would mean game over for the planet. And to me, that means game over for my future. That's an incredibly scary threat to live with. In fact, it's so scary that many members of my generation suffer what I call climate depression. We don't have the security that every past generation has of life goes on, because for us, it might not. The President's Panel on Climate Change released a study last January stating that if we don't severely curb carbon emissions, we could expect a 6-degree rise by the end of the century. 6 degrees is uninhabitable for human beings. The end of the century, that's my lifetime, your children's lifetime. So you can see where this climate depression may come from. Some of us have lost hope, and we make sick jokes about how it doesn't really matter anyway because the planet's gonna melt. Because that takes the edge off this very real possibility. But hope is relentless. It's encrypted into the human genome. And so we'll joke about melting ice caps one minute and we'll fill the streets the next. We have to. It's the only thing we can do to secure a livable future. Because we aren't the ones in Congress and we're not the ones in the private sector. We're not the ones buying politicians. Many of us are not even voting age, so even our democratic vote does not matter to the people who have the power to either save or destroy our future with one piece of legislation or one massive pipeline. So we are rising. The last time I stood on this ground was in an act of civil disobedience against this very pipeline, and those who sat with me were all youth, ready to go to juvie to stop this. Many of them are here right now. I spent my 18th birthday in zip ties in a booking facility in Washington, D.C. for blockading the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission as part of a week of action against the epidemic of fracked gas infrastructure sweeping this country, threatening communities, water sources, and cropland. All of those that sat with me were under the age of 30. These pipelines, in addition to the effects of climate change, affect most those who did the least to create the problem, the world's poor and most vulnerable. Hurricane Haiyan is a good example. This is an issue of inequity, justice, and environmental racism. When my booking officer realized it was my birthday, he gave me a funny look, and he said, "What are you doing here? Why aren't you out celebrating?" I looked at him, and I said, "This is my witness to life, because if we don't stop this, we won't have a planet to live on. There is no better way to celebrate life." This is the reality for my generation and all that follow. This is a fight for life. And the only thing we can do is take to the streets. The only thing that has ever worked in the history of this country is masses of people in the streets. We cannot fight this fight for our lives alone. We need you. We need you to take to the streets. We need you to fill the jails. We need you to resist, disrupt, dissent. This does not end tonight. This does not end even when the president cancels this pipeline. We need you to keep fighting, because climate change is a matter of life and death. It is no longer a matter of changing your light bulbs and calling your senators. Do that, but then disrupt. Rise. The time is now, and we are counting on you. Thank you.